Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Who's going down? This is Rasslin Rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Wrestling Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Rage YouTube channel. I am Cody Fleming. Joining me tonight is the 2021 Indie Idol, AVZ, the 2022 Indie Idol, Davison Sarai. They are this year's judges. I need to get rid of this stupid thing here. Hold on a minute. See, this is what happens when I slack off sometimes. But anyways, so this is Indie Idol. We are in the fourth round. Davison was unfortunately not able to join us last week. She was feeling a little bit under the weather. Looks like she's feeling much better today. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you and welcome back.
Thank you for the welcome back. I feel tremendous today. Got a certain pep in my step. I'm not sure what that has to do with, but I'm loving my evening so far.
All right, sweet. I like that. Last week, you weren't here, and AVZ turned the dial to 12 and decided that we were going to do a fucking death match as a stipulation. Not just any death match. It's a fucking death match. And you know, people could take that any way they wanted, but we added something else in there. They had to use a person. They had to use some type of person. There was no how or what or why. It's just you had to use a person somehow, some way. And with this being a death match, this could have went several ways. I think there was only a couple people that actually used the person as like a prop to kill, if I'm not mistaken. I recall, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you last year, Davison, have a person in your promo that you were like abusing?
Providing counseling services for?
That, yeah, okay, we'll call it that.
I mean, HIPAA violations indicate that I cannot possibly share another person's medical record information. I don't want to lose my career over this thing. I've been known to do a little bit of side work with people who need some help. So yeah, I know a little something about that for sure.
Right. Well, I just remember last year in your promo, wasn't it something like there was somebody in the base? It was like, you remember that AVZ? Like, you remember that Blair Witch type shit she did? Yeah, I remember that shit.
You know what? Honestly, I don't want to get too far into that. Again, there's HIPAA violations that could come into play here. I know she can't reveal everything that happened. If you want to see that, you can go back and watch that
right.
on the Wrestling Rage YouTube channel.
Well, that's right. R2YouTube.com. Right. Okay. Well, let's get into this, huh? What do you say? Oh, before I do, I want to say thank you to all our sponsors. Their logos are scrolling down there. Also, if you scroll down in the description, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to all their stuff because they help with this show. They help provide awards, which, you know, you were a nominee for 2 awards this year, Davison. AVZ won Heel of the Year. So, you know, congratulations to all of you. All right, first match we're going to get into is Annie O'Neill versus Road Rash. All right, so I'll start it out. I don't really have a lot of notes on this one. We kind of talked about this a little bit before we went live, and so maybe I'll steal something from AVZ. A lot less edits out of this one for Road Rash. Made it look a lot better. I do know, and I did talk to Road Rash. He was sick all week, and he turned in his promo like Thursday or Friday. Like Friday afternoon, I can't remember, but he was really sick, and he said he had tried something and it just wasn't working. So, but good promo overall out of Road Rash. I really don't have I don't have anything really bad to say about it. The edits were a lot less. Annie, dude, I think you're really starting to find your character. I do want to say though, like the one thing that I want to say is like, I know that you went from one side to the other, right? So you went from here to here. And I feel like your emotion in your voice may be a little bit too forced. And I don't mean like completely forced. Like, I don't feel like you're like, it almost feels unnatural a little bit. And it takes that believability, that word.
Jesus Christ, Cody.
Davison, you know the word.
Believability.
That's it. Thank you. See, I'm just going to go to her. But anyways,
Believability.
there's
No
it.
problem.
It kind of took away from that. However, very good promo. You are progressing, and that is good. Unfortunately for you, though, you went against a good Road Rash this week, and I'm going to put Road Rash for the win for me. And who would like to go next?
I will.
I go next.
Okay, Davison.
I mentioned before, it's been interesting watching people go through these processes, figure out what their voice is going to be like. And there have been people reaching out for some pointers. I made it no secret. I made it a personal mission to help Annie get in touch with whatever is going on in there. We got to bring it out. And so I agree. We're getting much closer.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you that, Alex, what do we call it? There's like a buffer zone where I'm speaking like this, and then I'm going to start to get more intense, and then I'm going to like act really intense instead of actually getting really intense.
Right. I don't know if there's necessarily a word for it or whatnot, but it definitely, I understand what you're saying for sure.
It's like performative intensity at some point.
Yes.
There's a couple people this week
That's a good word.
who hit that for me.
Every time
Maybe
she
some-
says big words, we're going to put money up here or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I agree.
Performative intensity. You're not really intense. You're acting as if you're really intense. Now,
You're playing
Annie, I can see in your eyes that you're getting really intense.
Yeah.
I think you still got like, if you just let go, like whatever that thing is that Cody's hearing, that strain thing, let go and go fucking nuts. And if it's too big and loud, then redo it.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think you're like this close to it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you had the person on the couch. I wasn't sure if this was a therapist or a friend, and she hands you the weapon and you're both like, murder vibes. Obviously, I'm into that.
Hey, can I pause there for a second? Where in the fuck did you, and why do you have that? Like
A Morningstar?
Right? Yeah,
Love
why?
it.
Yeah,
Love
but
it.
why? Like, I'm a martial artist and I don't even have one of them things. But anyway, okay,
Well,
continue. Sorry.
You're not part of the order, clearly. One thing I got here for Annie, specifics. When I string you up in the corner of the ring with my belt, I'm not sure those are intentional. I'm still trying to figure out if those are like trips or if we're trying to do spacing, but I'm still getting weird, not quite in time stuff happening. Road Rash, your throat will close like a spigot. Your eyes will go dark like clouds of a thunderstorm. I'm going to hit you with a light tube. Wouldn't squash a fly. A lot of imagery being brought in, which I think is cool. I like the fact that there was more attention being paid. Here's a note. This is for Jason Blasen later as well. The impulse is great. Be careful with language imagery that's being chosen. So I know what a spigot is. I'm not sure a lot of people under the age of like 25 might know what a spigot is. I use a lot of big words. I don't know if everybody understands them. If we're going to get imagery based, we need to make sure people can see the image. So some of the language, the clouds, yeah, I get that. The pipe, the dark. I want more. I want more. I don't know what to say other than like Blasen got more intense this week and was doing like more with body language and stuff. But then there's like word selection and like natural speech as opposed to, I'm looking for that, like that in between stuff. For me this week, I had a hard time figuring out which of them had done the better job. So what I wound up looking at was who was like mostly in the pocket consistently. And actually I've got Annie for the win this week because she stayed in that pocket a little bit more than I thought Road Rash did. And Road Rash had moments of brilliance. In and out a little bit, and I think Annie stayed in. So Annie for the win.
All right. This is why we have multiple judges. So
Oh yeah, Davison fucking firing on all cylinders this week. Thank you. There you go. I get to stay last. I like it. There we go. I was a little hungover this weekend, so it's great. All right, Annie. I like that you opened with Annie. Are you okay? That was cute. That was adorable. Coming from like the person, I thought that was good use there. Character wise, by far the strongest I've seen you. This is the character. This is it. And what I mean by that is you did exactly what I told you, where you kept the stuff on the side with like the Book of Shadows and the Order and all this stuff, but you got rid of the supernatural parts and you made the scary parts about you what's really scary about you, which is the martial arts, the intensity, and the fact that you can really fuck people up, right? That's what I wanted to see. The Morningstar was sweet. When I started, I used a spiked mace as like my like deathmatch weapon. Obviously, I can't actually use that because it would literally kill somebody. Just like the Morningstar, I mean, like you're not trying to kill Daemon Targaryen here, right? You're not protecting the armor of Rhaenyra and then switching sides to Alicent. But that said, that's a tidbit for those who like that. I'm excited for the next House of the Dragon season. That all said, I actually feel a little bit opposite of you, juxtaposed, to use a $10 word, Miss Davison, in that I actually felt Road Rash was in the pocket a little bit more for me than Annie, and here's why. So Annie, I really liked what you did here. I liked everything that was going on. I do agree with everything that they said about I'm not going to just rehash what they said as far as the pauses, the vernacular, how you're using the intensity. And I do think you should just let it all go at some point here. But you use edits here, which were good, and I liked the scenes. You need to find a way to make them more cohesive, right? If we're editing back between scenes like that, yeah, I understand that like we're not all, not everyone is a professional videographer the way that someone like Jamie Eternal is, or like Eddie Dillon does or whatnot. That's okay, right? I just want to see, gave this critique to Alex Steele last week, is that I want to see the timbre and the feel and the cadence and the emotion flow between the scenes as opposed to it feel choppy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would like to see it feel a little bit more natural between the scenes, if that makes sense. And then, okay. And that said, Road Rash, this was a return to your basics. This is what brought you to the dance, that intensity. And this was a match style that's like perfect for you, right? When your daughter came in, it did feel a little bit it felt like you kind of dropped that a little bit more than you needed to. Also, it would have been cool to see you both in the scene at the same time. Because I know you're right there, right? Why like I want to see you kind of end of the screen at the same time. Sorry about that. I'm getting calls. One moment. I need to. Basically, that all said, this is Road Rash for me by 0.5. So I liked it a lot from both of you. Keep it coming. Great intensity.
All right. So Road Rash takes that win. So both great promos, though. I have to give that to both good promos. We all got shit to work on. It's not personal. It's just everybody. We're just making each other better here, right? So now we're going to move on to Avery Hughes and Mason Keller. Avery Hughes did not turn in a promo last week, so he was disqualified last week. And then Mason Keller. But this week he turned one in. And I'm going to say this. This is much improved from your previous promos, okay? Much improved. We just need a little bit better direction. That's it. This is a start, and this is somewhere to build off of. So now you're heading in the right direction. You are heading in the right direction, and now we can build off it. I am not the most equipped person to give you the corrections that you need to make it better, but I will tell you this, that in my opinion, you are the most improved from last week to this week. I mean, for sure. And even from week 3 to week 3 to this one. You know what I'm saying? Or week 2 to this one, because you didn't turn in a promo. So you're definitely heading in the right direction. Like I said, Alex and Davison can give you a few better things there. But like I said, you did a way better job. I want to give you that, okay? Mason, I like that you used results from past rounds in Indie Idol in this promo against him, I guess you could say. You also had a prop that you used. That was good. So I'm going to use a term here. I'm going to use a wrestling term. So your test dummy, I don't know if he was a greenhorn. I've never seen him before. But so he took the shot to the stomach really well, but then when he gets down to the ground and he's hitting him, he's like no selling. He's like just laying there, right? Now, I understand that's not your fault, Mason Keller. All right? I understand that. But I want to point you out. Go ahead and give that kid a smack in the head for me, all right? Tell him to stop that shit, all right? But there are certain times in your promo where I don't know if it's the pauses or if you're looking away, because sometimes you're looking away from the camera and sometimes you're pausing. So I'm kind of wondering if I'm in my head, I'm going, is he looking for the words? Because, as a judge, I'm like trying to judge this. Is he looking for the words or is he stumbling? You know what I mean? And I don't know which one it is, but that's something to work on. Better eye contact with the camera so that I can really feel what you're saying, or not just me, but your audience, right? Because that's how you get into the audience head. Yeah, so that's what I have. But I have Mason winning this one.
Nice. I'm going to start with Avery. I hope Avery's watching live. I've said not incredibly kind things in the past, especially from the last one that got turned in. I did not get it. I've not seen you live. I was not happy with what you were doing in the first couple of rounds. I got to say, I thought you using the extras the way that you did finally gave me the context I needed to understand who your character is and what's going on there. That finally clicked for me. Like the fact that you got up, you were like, I don't know, you just feel like you filled up more, like your posture, your voice was bigger and deeper and meaner. So all that stuff was better for me, more engaged. Then, though, you said you're a nerd with video games, something, you kill people in video games. It was a pretty short little spurt of sentence, maybe 10 seconds tops. This is the thing we've talked about. There's a lot of words to use. You get redundant in that short amount of time. It doesn't feel like clever wordplay. It feels accidental in that situation. I thought it was cool, though. You use that context like to explain your superiority, which is good. Using it that close together, not my favorite thing. Mason, well. I'm talking Batman villain type shit finally. Like, that's what I wanted to. I love that. What do I have? Come here, test dummy. I don't really care what your name is. I thought that was fun. That was you using some of our notes. Then the test dummy got to you. You're holding the thing. And it became apparent to me you two didn't know what to do next, because you went, so what do you think? And he was like, I think it's a tripod. Well, that's what you think. And then you whack him. Stomach shot looked good. I don't know what a no-sell is, Cody. I don't know if you're at the grocery store or what you're talking about exactly. But what I'll say is using a longer weapon or something with more space would afford you the opportunity to swing it and potentially blind certain elements if you're interested in that sort of thing. Using that weapon exposed a lot of what you're doing in not the best possible way. Alex, if you want to expand on that, feel free to. I didn't know how to score this. I felt like Mason, you grew in the right ways. And then there were some big stumbles, like Cody was talking about, some big gaps in between some stuff. Avery, yours was pretty lean and mean, and you're like kind of sticking to a certain pattern. If I was going to show these two, somebody who doesn't watch wrestling, and say which of these two is selling you a match more, I honestly thought, because of everything that wound up on screen, Avery's was the way to go. Because there are more dips for Mason. Sometimes doing less is more if we can't guarantee a consistently high level. Do a little bit less and make sure all of those points are up.
So you got Avery winning this one?
I do.
Okay. I just want to make sure, so I mark it down.
Yeah.
Because I'm
good job, both of you guys.
This one was close for me, man. Avery, this is obviously, it's been said, the strongest it's looked. Quick notes, when you great job. Thank you for saying it, Davison. You finally gave us character context, and that's what we needed when you opened that, right? And you got up and you kind of chest puffed and you kind of said it even fucking more there, because this is your moment. This is the moment to establish, right? This is your moment to establish your character. So when you're getting up out of that, like, and they run away, just kind of like wait till it's kind of like the coast is clear or whatever, like almost like, they're gone. Oh, that was nothing. Me, I am Avery Hughes. You know what I mean? I'm there, because you came up and you were tough, but it's like, I think just a little bit of like, the coast is clear now. They're gone. Oh, well, that was nothing. You know what I mean? Just even more over the top right there. Let them know that it's like, okay. Yeah, I could take that. I could take anything. I'm Avery Hughes. I'm so strong. My biceps will crush. You know what I'm saying? You're going to stab him with your bicep. I like that bit. I agree with word redundancy that Davison brought up. That was in my notes. You were short and sweet. I thought it was a little too short. I thought it could have been a little bit more. There was a little bit of meat on the bones. And again, it doesn't have to be with what you say. It can be creating that feel, like how much, like after you got beat down by those guys, like there were no words need to be said for like maybe 10 or 15 seconds of just like dead air where you're telling the story with your body. You know what I'm saying? And then like, it's like, oh God, oh Jesus. Oh, that was nuts. You know what I'm saying? There's your moment right there. Sell that more to no sell it better. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like sell to no sell in a weird way. Yeah, I'm sorry. Davison Lowe's is keeping it alive here. But I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna get into Mason here. So Mason, I do. So last week I talked about how if you're gonna open with a well or something like that, you got to do it all the way, and you did it all the way as far as that goes. You were over the top in the best possible way to open. I like the use of the crash test dummy thing. I thought that was cute. Again, you are still looking away a little bit. That's all going to come with time. The happy feet, all that. There were like little weird pauses where you were trying to remember what you were going to say. Again, that's going to get better with time. Just keep practicing, keep going. This was one that I thought maybe you should have probably shot once or twice more. Just like, I would probably run through the moment with crash test dummy once or twice before it became a thing. Give him his notes a little bit better. Yeah. So as far as the physical goes, I will give you some pointers on that. You're using a blunt item to beat him down. So the shot to the gut was good. You stomped with it. Boom. He sold it. Great. So here's the deal. When you come down with it, if you're coming down axe handle style on him with it, jump with it, because that's not going to make a noise. A chair, bang, that's going to make noise, right? If I hit with a paddle to a side, if I'm going to 5-star you with a paddle, I'm probably also going to stomp with it, because yeah, it'll make a noise, but like I don't want to actually blow your back out with it, so I'm going to stomp with it, boom, for a little extra noise. When you come, so if you're going to axe handle with it, make a huge motion as you stomp with it, and he has no choice but to sell. You know what I'm saying? But here's what you really should have done with it. After the boom, or not even that, down to a knee, one hand, bang. Okay. And every time you drop it, boom, drop a knee, boom, drop a knee, boom, drop a knee. Now you get the noise here. The motion is there. And if you're going to really deliver it to someone, you can deliver it higher on their back. You can deliver more to the neck, and you're not really killing them with it, but you're making it look like you're just blasting them in the head over and over and over and over. You're going to kill them with this stupid trap. I'll kill you. You know what I mean? It looks so vicious with a bang, a bang, a bang. And you're making all that noise as you come up, boom with your knee, boom with your knee, boom with your knee, every time back into the canvas, and then come look back up. Take a second. You know what I'm saying? Like take a second, even like look at it. Like what did I just do? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And then finish the monologue. I thought you finished strong here. It was just a little bit in the middle. For me, this was very close. This was the best I've seen from Avery. This was the highest ceiling wise I've seen from Mason. And by 0.5 with a 31 versus I gave this one to Mason. So Mason, you did get the win here. This was very close for me. Both of you keep working. It's getting better. It's getting much better week after week.
It sure is. And, you know, that's the good thing about this. And that's what I keep trying to tell everybody is, you know, even though you may not win a round or you may not win the championship, the payoff for you is getting better, right? Because that's what Indie Idol in the end is all about. I'm just going to put this result in here real quick. I had to go through it. Something effed up and I had to redo it all, but I did that while AVZ was talking. Imagine that, right?
While you do that, Alex, I got a little distracted when Alex started talking about blowing somebody's back out with a tripod.
Hey, save that for the bedroom, if you know what I mean. With a blowing someone's back out with a tripod. I'm like,
oh boy,
Who's complaining?
maybe
right.
he was a beat in butt head with them.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Jason Blasen and Eddie Dillon. Jason Blasen, he used a kendo stick. He took a kendo stick to the back, and I don't know if that was your child or your offspring, whatever we'll call them. But I bet they enjoyed doing that if they were. I know that if my father would have ever allowed me to hit him with a kendo stick, I definitely would have took the option to do that right away. That motherfucker. But anyways, so I bet he enjoyed it. Overall, decent promo. I think, AVZ was talking about it last week, like this is supposed to be his thing with the couch. I think you might be right because, he was on the couch. So I think you may be right this time. Well, I don't mean this time, but, you know what I mean. But anyway,
Fair enough.
Eddie Dillon, I want to say you were the only person that used your person as an old school interview style, right? And by the way, she did a great job. So kudos to her. Make sure you tell her thank you. Like the old days. The promo overall, not bad, but here's the one thing that I have. All right. I like the promo, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm not feeling a whole lot of emotion out of you, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's very monotone and flat. I'm not. When I watch the promo, and again, as a fan, I'm going, do I want to see this match? Right? After one promo or both promos or whatever. And the lack of emotion doesn't make me want to go see the promo or go see the match. Right? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just being honest. Okay? However, so I scored you pretty low on the old emotion side. But your character's there. All right? Your character's there. I like the creativity because I like the fact that I like old school style, the old Mean Gene type shit. I love that. I love it. Fucking love it. So I scored you a little bit, gave you a good score on the creativity. And the context was there. By 0.3. By 0.3, Eddie Dillon wins.
We're into the threes. Can I go next?
Go.
Mind? Okay, cool. So I like both of these. They were both pretty creative for me. I liked it a lot. Jason, I liked your use of your son or people. This was the strongest monologue for me from you. Okay. It felt natural the whole way through. I liked how you used the death match. You said, I've never been in a death match. I'm a wrestler. I want to wrestle. So to get me ready for this, give me the shot. You took a shot from a kendo stick in a video. Man, if there's one thing I hate getting hit with, it's a kendo stick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would rather take tacks. I'd rather take a chair. I'd rather take a lot of things. Oh yeah, kendo sticks. They whip and they bite, and I hate it. I hate it. So I'll still take them. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'll take them.
Right.
But I know that whatever is going to happen when I get hit with a kendo stick, I don't have to sell at all because whatever's going to come out of my mouth is the most realistic sell I can give you because I hate that. That said, nice. One thing I did not like, you did not tell me who that person was. I wanted to, was it your son? Was it your pupil? Was it your student? Was it a friend? Tell me. I think it was your son, but don't let me think. I need to know. You know what I mean? You got a minute and 30 seconds. I need to know. You know what I mean? And you could tell me that instantly, just being like, just throw in hey, you got all these on your report card this week, brother. So I guess I'm gonna give you this one thing. Get me ready, baby. Boom. You told me without telling me. You know what I mean? You can tell me you don't have to directly say he's your son. You don't have to directly tell me he's your pupil. You can tell me without telling me. You understand what I'm saying? Give me the context there to do it, but I didn't really get that there either. So that work on that a little bit. So far, this has been your strongest monologue. Keep doing what you're doing that got you to this and keep improving on that. It's going to be better and better. Yeah, I liked it. Eddie, very creative. Okay, you used the Mean Gene there. I liked that a lot. So, and I liked the twist in the end. So you put Jason over quite strong when you were talking about how you thought it was for the Super Junior Weight Championship. Okay, that was really good. But when you flipped it back around, you realize, oh shit, it's a death match. Never mind. No, because you bury yourself there. Okay. You shouldn't have I understand that we should all be focused. The whole point of the death match is I want to see how your character responds to the death match itself, right? So, and people are going to take that different ways. Like Jason didn't want to do a death match. He wants to wrestle. He's pissed that he's in it, right? But he's trying to find a way to do it anyway. Do you know what I mean? Here, you just kind of walked away and it made you seem like a coward, which is the opposite of what your character is, right? Your character thus far has shown me that you are not a coward. And even if you don't like something, you're going to do it, right? So rather than walking off on that, it was a good punchline, but you buried yourself and you made him look really strong. That's what I didn't like. It's like, you can put your opponent over, and I want you to do that, right? Make your opponent look strong. And I liked how you did it too, because you made him look strong without outwardly being like, you're a this, you're a that, you're a this. But that's a good way to do it. But it's even sexier when you can find a way to, and I mean sexier within the context of the promo, to do it without doing it. Like almost like, oh shit, I gotta fight Jason Blasen. He's the junior heavyweight champion. So I don't want to do all that. But okay, good, you got him over. But that's like, you know what? That's fine. I'm me. I'm Eddie Dillon, and I don't run for. I would have like you to come back on screen almost and be like, on second thought, Eddie Dillon runs from nobody. You know what I mean? Death match or not, opportunity or not, championship on the line or not, I'm coming for you. You know what I mean? Maybe end it with a weapon or something like that. I would have liked to see that a little bit more. And so for that reason, it's really close for me, but I did go with Jason Blasen on this one.
Okay. What the fuck did I do with my pen? There it is.
Hard telling over there.
All right.
Jason, this was probably my favorite of your promos. And Alex, you made an interesting point. I have in my notes here, your kid is afraid of you being hurt in a match. I guess maybe I was never actually told that. I guess I just made the assumption.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So that's a good point. But the context made sense to me. Here's this young person. And it's like, I don't necessarily want to do this, but okay, well, there's my context. It was interesting to me because it was a little, does anybody remember the Chris Farley fat guy in a little coat joke?
Hell yeah.
Yep.
This was like two people on a little couch.
Nah.
And Blasen was trying to kind of turn to like demonstrate some stuff, but was having to like lean to create space to be doing things because they were like stuck together on this little couch. That's one of those situations where it's like, you can have the best laid plans, but if you can't make the plan work with what you got in terms of resources, change the plan somehow, because nobody's going to see what you meant to do. They're only going to see what you did. That didn't ruin anything, but it did result in some kind of interesting body language that I don't think would have happened otherwise. I'm going to kick your ass with light bulbs, kendo sticks, and chairs. I'm going to bring this up later. Rachel did something similar for me. This is kind of a literary thing, but like if I say I've got some dangerous animals at home. I've got a warthog, a hippopotamus, and a great white shark. Small, bigger, and biggest. Don't say I've got 3 weapons: a chainsaw, a butter knife, and some mace.
That was clever. I like that.
You know what I mean? You don't want to come down. You want to go up. So the bulb thing was kind of interesting for me, but I agree with you. We look into the camera at the end. He takes that shot. Oh, like that was a real thing. It felt very wrestling to me. Eddie, I had to kind of take a second take at yours because it was so radically different than everything else you've done this season. And we've never said we're going to judge you like week to week. We've never really said that part out loud. I'm not necessarily looking for like week to week continuation of the exact same character. I guess we've all kind of said it's a good idea. This felt like a complete sidestep from all the broken Eddie stuff that we've been talking about. So I just kind of tried to judge it according to that. There were some gaps where it didn't feel intentional. It felt like deer in the headlights. a little bit, especially close to the beginning. The slow realization of the death match, I don't mind that. The one and only time I could see that working, Alex, you'll agree with this.
Yeah.
If you're the champion
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's challenging you to a death match, well, now I don't need to do this. I don't need to do it. I'm fucking leaving. Because now the pursuit is to get you into that death match. If you're a challenger, why would you walk away from it? You're giving up your money. You know what I mean? So logically, it didn't make a ton of sense for me. But I'm saying basically what Alex said. I think because I was left with more of a sense of intensity if somebody's actually going to fight, and that was Jason Blasen this season or this week. So Jason Blasen for me too.
So Jason Blasen wins that round.
So really quick, if I could, I have a critique based on Davison said something and I was like, oh, boom, light bulb went off for me. I said this before, and I'm going to say this again. This is for Jason. With the small couch situation, again, Jason was 100% correct. Like, it did create some awkward body language and it did make things feel a little bit weird. It doesn't have to. There's a moment when that kind of happens where make it part of the show. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be awkward or whatever. It's like, oh, this couch is small. We're right next to each other. Like, make it almost like your body language is like kind of hitting him in the face or something like that a little bit, like, oh, and he's like, whoa, hey, whoa, dad, whoa, hey. You know what I mean? Like, make the fact that it's small and it's kind of going to create some awkward body language part of the show, like man spread for no reason. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, hey, do you know what I mean? I feel like, again, it's just a situation where it did, because you didn't use it. It's like, when it's there, everything is only a mistake if you let it be a mistake, or like something is only weird if you make it weird. Like, you're a wrestler, you're a worker, work it. You know what I mean? Work it, baby. So that's all. But thank you, Davison, for bringing that kind of up.
Well, now my thing gave you a light. Now your light gave me another light.
Yeah.
If they're on the couch, see, we're a good team here. You like to go in this direction, I like to go in this direction. So you can create the comedy with the bam, 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 the accidental or the intentional. Or now we're in close quarters. So maybe if this is all we got, maybe we change the tone of the interview to putting an arm around you to say, I know you're concerned about me, buddy. There's a reason we're this close. And then as we're talking, maybe I get more and more close and I'm being more intense. Now they're trying to pull away, but they can't because we're on this tiny little couch. Like, you could play it that way too.
Absolutely.
This felt like we've got limited resources. Let's do something that doesn't really fit the resources, but we're both agreeing the performance. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're the best. Love it.
All right, so moving on. Now we're on to the Great Tiger versus Fletch Malone. So I'm going to start it off with the Tiger. So we got to see Little Tiger. We got to see a Little Tiger, right? And we got to see Little Tiger's extensive language use. And we also got to see a morphing tiger, right? The special effects. I will say that there was a very limited use of special effects, and the limited use worked very well. I liked that, whatever that's called. I don't know what the highlight, whatever that is, when they, do that. I liked it.
The electrocution field.
Yeah, I liked it. I really did. I don't really have a lot of corrections for it. I really liked the promo. There was one time where the wind hit the camera, but you really can't do shit about that when you're talking and you're outside. It's not much you can do other than shoot it again when the wind dies down. I don't know. But again, good use of your special effects. Enjoyed it. Fletch. Dude, good use of a person. I liked it. I know Fletch was a little worried about his acting skills or performance, I should say. His, not Fletch, but the person, right? And listen, I can't hold you accountable or as a judge for other people. I can only hold you accountable for you, right? At this point. But I will say I liked the use. I liked how you incorporated it and made it into like, this guy's sitting here to attack you, and then you take him out, you come back to the camera, you cut the promo, dude, and it was boom, boom, boom. You hit what you had to hit, said what you had to say, and then done. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Location, I liked the location, and I love the branding. I'm going to say this, and again, I've said something like this today, but I know my place in the pecking order, but I also understand branding. And this is that time where you should get your shit in. When you're cutting a promo and you have the opportunity to put a little logo off to this, fucking do it. Follow me here. Fucking do it. Just saying. All right. Oh, yeah, I got...
Who are for you?
Fletch. By 0.5.
Davison?
I liked the tiger. I found myself laughing a couple of times. I thought it was cute with the kid, and then once I realized the kid was, oh wow, that is the tiger. I wrote in my notes in all caps, "This is what happens if you never stop training." Like turning into the big tiger. So that was kind of fun. Clearly taking Alex's notes with the tiger. Yeah. Heard that right away. Leaning in at the end, the eyes, the "you're not ready," like hit all the notes. That's what we've been talking about. Cody, I'm gonna call foul on what you said. Okay. I can't hold people accountable for whoever they got. I look at it like this. On the indie level, you are the writer, director, producer, casting agent. You know what I mean? You're doing all of it. So if the person didn't turn in a great performance, do it again and tell them to do it better. If they can't do it better, call another friend and have them come do it. And if they can't do it, change the plan. The only 2 points of weakness I found in Fletch's video were your friend not ready for screen. When you went over to beat the person up, you whiffed hard on whatever that second thing was supposed to be. You kind of were going to go like do something, you just kind of missed him, and then you stomped him out, and then you came over. If you had known, I think, what that was going to look like, I'm sure you would have stopped and redone it, because everything after that for me was fucking money. From the eye contact to the voice to the walking back and coming back, like intensity was there for me. I can't help but admit it. I have become a Fletch Malone fan this season, and I'm trying to grade objectively here, but I just think that this made me want to see the next chapter. I think Tigers was really entertaining. Fletch made me want to go and see a fight and support this person in this fight. So Fletch for me as well.
Awesome. So I do have, like, everyone hit on almost all of my notes. So that's pretty good. I like that. So Tiger, I like the mini Tiger going up. And again, this is one of those things where, as I said before, this is a totally unique character with its own canon and its own everything. It's growing as you go. I love that. So I'm going to throw some things I think might have been cool that maybe you could have added into it. I thought, so, okay, little tiger grows into big tiger. Cool. There's so much more canon I want to see. I want to see behind that, like if it's going to happen, right? I think that's a cool aspect to this character. Like there's little tiger and there's big tiger, and like, and you're the same person, but like, okay, when you're a little tiger, are you conserving energy? Is it like, so that like, but because regular tiger is just so powerful, like Frieza, like, oh, Frieza can't be in maximum form all the time, so he has to be little tiger sometimes in order to, you know, build up the energy. And when he gets experience points as little tiger, now when he's big tiger, boom, like all of a sudden there's so much, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, he gets double the experience now that he's, you know, maybe that would be kind of cool. Like, I don't know, those are just thought processes.
Now you're talking like Ant-Man style too. You could go all the way down here. Yeah.
Right. Or even like, oh, this guy's a submission guy. Well, if I have little legs, it's going to be really hard to heel hook me. You know what I mean? Like things like that. Like, why not? But again, you're Ant-Man. So like, it could even be situations where maybe when you're little tiger, if like you do something like a little tiger grabs a finger, boom, whoa, boom, all the giant hip toss bump, bang, whoa. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, he has the power of regular tiger, but he's little. It's crazy. I don't know. There's so much meat on the bone with that you can play with. And like, I know that Great Tiger is going to bring Little Tiger into this almost certainly. You know what I mean? Live or not live. And I feel like those are all cool ideas that you could have for that. And I know like just feeding you a little bit of that, you're going to take that and you're going to run and it's going to be awesome. Because you're going to expand on that a million times over. That being said, something else I thought would have been cool. So Little Tiger was on the playground, boom, 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 boom. And then Great Tiger was doing the same things, but a little bit better on the playground. It's like, okay, what if all of a sudden it morphs from, instead of being on the playground when Great Tiger comes in, now it's the dojo. Do you know what I mean? It's like little tiger warms up on the playground. Big tiger, boom, 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 boom. He's going through, he's doing like the ground footwork ladder. Da, 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 da. He's smashing, he's like running between the bags now. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, that's what big tiger does. This is what little tiger does to get ready. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit of that. I liked it. A lot more with the tiger. You brought that up more. I liked that even more, baby, even more. I liked it a lot though. This was the strongest I've seen you. I liked it a lot. Fletch, again, there's nothing you can do. Well, who you're working with is what it is, right? I do think you should have reshot that a little bit. And I know what happened, right? I feel like the person you were working with isn't a worker, because when you went, the thing that you whiffed on was you trying to bring him back up to get him again. You know what I mean? You wanted to lay that in and you went to bring him up, but he didn't know to go with you. So, and then that's when you switch to the stomps and you're outside. So as you know, like the stomp doesn't get as much because you're on the outside. So you don't get as much of the noise. Yeah, I mean, like you had like the pillar there. I almost would have like, I think what you were probably going to go for was bring him back up, swing him around, and blam, send him into the pillar. You know what I mean? I think that would have been cool. But again, all of that aside, maybe just like run that one again, run it again. He'll get it. You know what I mean? Or you'll figure out what like the capabilities of the person you're working with are, so that you can kind of augment what you're going to do to fit what their capabilities are to give the best possible product. That said, when you went into your monologue, whiz, bang, that was it, right? That was the Fletch that we're seeing now. That was the Fletch that is really, really strong. And for those reasons, for ceiling purposes, Fletch for me. But it was very, very close. Yeah, I really love that, Fletch. Like it's coming together, man. Like I'm not gonna say coming together. It came together. It's not coming together. It came together, brother. So lean on it. I gave Koko this tip last time and he used it this week. We'll get to that later. But lean on your strengths. And your strengths right now, that's your monologue. So I would keep that right now.
Koko Del Negro. So we're going to move on. We got Spyder versus Summer Rawson. And I'm going to say this because this was probably the hardest one for me in this round. I had to watch these promos. Fuck, I can't even tell you how many times I watched these, man, but it was a lot. I can tell you that. I had to go back and watch it again, go back and watch it again, go back and watch it again. Because even going through and scoring them individually and then counting it up and not looking at their scores, it came out tied. And we can't have ties, right? So I went back through and I went back through and I went back through, and I have to be impartial. That's the word I'm looking for. I have to be impartial. And you know, I'm really proud of Summer for everything that she's done and everything that she's doing so far. I want to say that right now. So I'm going to start with Summer. I really enjoyed I don't think you did this on purpose. I think it just kind of worked out that way. But the clouds in the background with the purple shirt as you're walking down that first right when it turns on, the way that it worked well. Just the color wise, I don't know. I'm a color guy, I guess. This right here, though, I will say this. You said stain my hands, right? You were talking about the blood, okay? And then you say that you're sadistic. Okay, but I didn't get the sadistic feel from you, right? I don't know how to say it, but it was like I didn't get a sadistic evil feel from you. I got not so much. It was not Summer Rawson that I know that I see every day. It was a different Summer Rawson, but it wasn't a sadistic Summer Rawson. There was a laugh in there that wasn't very sadistic, right? And I have to look at to give you I'm not going to say take this laugh, but I'm going to say look at this person, Jamie Eternal, right? Jamie Eternal's laugh. That's when you hear that laugh. I want to stab somebody. I literally want to stab somebody, right? Call me weird. I don't care, but that laugh I heard, yeah, okay, thank you. That laugh, I didn't feel the sadistic, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I just think that you need to figure that out.
You're being a judge.
Right.
You're allowed to be a judge on a judging show.
Right. But you need to figure. When you get there, I know this is new, and you're going to get there. That's something you got to work on. Spyder. Here's another thing that I think he did this on purpose though. There was a color effect in his promo where everything was kind of grayish, but the red in his the thing and the red in his tattoos was showing really well, right? Mm-hmm. And I personally think he did that on purpose. I don't know, but if he did, either way, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great for this promo with it being the death match, the red, and then having those tattoos show, with I thought it worked, right? It really did. And then you also mentioned the color red, right? In your promo, you mentioned the color red. And I don't know if you did it on purpose, but I'm thinking you did, and I liked it, okay? Also, branding. I don't think you branded before, but you did brand this one. I seen your logo. Cool logo, by the way. I like that logo. But, yeah, you did some branding. If the only thing I would say with your branding is give us an at wherever you're at, right? At Rasslin Rage. At, you know what I mean? But I got Spyder on this. I got Spyder winning this one. I had to go back through, and the reason, and I'm going to say this is because I just felt like he was in the whole time. There was no really. I don't really have a lot of corrections on it, and when I look at hers and I look at his, I go, okay, well, he did a little bit better of a job. So the Spyder for me.
Do you want me to go?
I'll go, or do you want to go?
Why don't you go?
Do I go?
Okay.
Do you go? I don't know. Who goes?
I already went.
I will go. Okay, great. So this was okay. So Summer, I'll start with you. This is a kind of a situation where I felt like you've been really, really good so far, and in order to go forward, you almost have to go back a little bit. You know what I mean? In order to step forward, we're going to have to step back a little bit. And I think this was that day. And here's why. You did exactly what I asked you to do. You opened when you said a death match is what they want. And then when you got to like dumpsters like this, now that was the summer. That felt real. You know what I mean? From there on, it felt pretty real. At the beginning, it was that over the top stage summer. Right. And so you got to where you were normal. And I agree with Cody here, where at the moment that you needed to become sadistic, you needed to toe the line here because you don't want to go all the way back into stage summer, but you need to find a way. Like, how does Summer, the Summer that felt real as you were talking, how does she bring up the sadistic, right? How does that Summer like ramp it up? How does that Summer ramp it up? How does that Summer go from the beginning all the way to the end and really talk about staining her hands? The blood, I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there we go, right? I don't know. Like, that's where I need to see it. And I'm gonna bring this up. You use another person, but you use him just for a second, and I didn't really understand why. It was like, I get that you're consoling someone of your pack, possibly. But it's like, where were they early? You know what I mean? Set up that payoff early where you're talking to them, and maybe like you bring them back at the end for context purposes. It's like we had the punchline with no setup. So it was like, so the punchline falls flat almost. Like, set that up if you're going to use it later and then use it there. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't have to be there the whole time, but kind of like make it a thing and then boom, you hit it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just things like that. As far as this was the most natural I've heard you so far, which is good. You're just going to have to, but again, it's like you have to move backwards to go forwards. You have to like break a bad habit in order to really set up how you use the good habit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So keep working like this. I really like that. Now, I lost my light on this. Spyder. So you brought in Scott Diamond at the beginning. That was good. He put you over. That was great. I almost wanted to feel a little interaction there. I felt like the characters were disjointed a little bit there. That's okay. You know what I mean? Again, at this point, I'm getting nitpicks here. I like that you did the doctor thing, the changing. I wanted to see you tie that in more, right? Yeah, it's like almost you did the doctor thing for the sake of doing it. You threw it away, but you could have brought that back over the course of the promo more and more and more and made it like, you know, tie it in. Not it was bad. It just like you did it and it was there, but you could have done it and it could have been a focus. You just understand what I'm saying? It's kind of like you can do a move, okay, or you can do a move and that move plays into the next move, plays into the next move, plays into the rest of the story of the match. You know what I'm saying? Matches are promos, promos are matches. Same deal. And this is the higher level stuff we're talking about here. You know what I mean? It was good. You did a cool thing, but bring it back, make it relevant, make that part of the story a part of the rest of the story. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And like Scott Diamond said something, you didn't bring him back up, right? Keep bringing it back, keep bringing it back, keep bringing it back, keep bringing it back, and then hit your payoff. Do you understand what I'm saying? Good job with the monologue. I thought it was very strong, and I loved the visuals with the contrast. It felt like a trash polka all brought in. You took Cody already hit it. Like you used the black, white, and red, used the grayscale with the red, and then you talked about the red. I loved that. For those reasons, I did go a Spyder on this one. But Summer's on the right track, man.
Amen.
You're on the right track. Both of you are, to be honest.
Well, you know, and I'll just say this real quick. Summer's not even done with training yet. Not even graduated high school. Holy smokes. So you're at this level already. You should be proud of that. Okay? Be proud of that. And you're only going to get better. For sure.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's been funny for me because I've noticed as the rounds have gone on, like the last 2 rounds, I don't know, something's been going on where I'm focusing on certain things. We've been saying it from the beginning, where it seems like my voting is starting to like peel away almost a little bit from the way you two are voting. Mm-hmm. I have Spyder winning this round as well. So we're on the same page with this one. Spyder, I wrote in my notes, you look like you're at Dexter's laboratory in hell. That was kind of fun. I know why you're doing that, because you're in front of the hospital. We talked about it. If you don't have access to a bunch of scenery, you got to use what you got. So I applaud you for trying to create some context. Well, there's a hospital. Let's figure out kind of a mad science thing. But Alex is right. It's like, don't just show me, hey, look at this trick. Fold it in, you know, lay out some diagnostics, talk about doing surgery or amputations. Like there's more there. You could have done more with it. I like the fact that I can see Spyder in real time using everything we've been talking about this whole season. That first one was just level 10, the whole time. And a lot of people can't get to that level. So we said, keep it, just don't live there. And then he came way down to here. And we're like, well, now you got to get back up. I feel like we're watching him like reach equilibrium. I felt like the pacing was closer this time than before. I was sick last week. So Alex, I want to get on the thing you always do with the baba da baba da ba. I'm a musician. I've talked about that before. I like hardcore music. It's one of my favorite genres. They mess around with time a lot. Tempo will stay the same. So if anybody doesn't know, a 4/4 song, for example, the whole song may go, and you're going to bob your head this way the whole time. Well, in hardcore, they might quadruple that and go to a blast beat, or now but it's still this.
Yep.
It goes from this to this to this. You got to get that with your gaps in between. It's got to fit the meter. And this was closer, but it wasn't all the way there. So like whatever y'all need to do to figure out that there is a rhythm. It's there. There's a rhythm of the night. Whoa. Summer, I know exactly what they're talking about. And I said this to somebody and I wasn't trying to be a smart ass. That vibe right in that moment, blood on my hands. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
I love
it. Is it striking anybody or no?
Oh, yeah.
The old person, is that why this is happening?
No.
It struck me so much. Say that again.
You're talking about tempo still.
No, I'm talking about when she. Their blood is on my hands.
Oh yes.
It felt very like Jolly Green Giant for me. Like
it wasn't sadistic.
no, and I think I'm starting to see some mannerism. That's fine. We all got to have our people, but I'm starting to wonder if Summer is looking at John Moxley a little bit. The subway or the train video. I remember the train came by and she said, Summer Rawson. She had about 5 seconds to kill. And I saw Moxleyisms where she walked around and did the thing with the nose, like, came back. I felt like that whole, like, I'm a little sadistic. That felt Moxley. He'll say that stuff, but then kind of be like this tightly wound nut. The difference is with Summer, we've seen these big energy swings. And when she's gotten intense, she's right plugged in. She had little traces of it this time, but yeah, I don't know if she was trying to stretch into some new stuff or if she got. I partially wondered if there might be some overconfidence because she's doing so well. One way or the other, there's a couple missteps for me. I think I've said it. I've got Spyder by a slim margin. I would call it, frankly, an upset, but I think you both did really well.
Very good. All right, so we are going to move on to Koko T. Ware and Trevor Straud. Why don't you go first, AVZ? I've done all of the first ones.
I love Davison's comparison to music and how to keep things within a time signature. And yes, you can change signatures and go back. That is possible. But I think that, you have to think about, as she said, creating rests rather than trying to change the signature in spots where it doesn't need to be. And that being said, I think that no one is better with tempo than understanding the cadence and understanding how they flow like Koko T. Ware. You can see the musician in him with that. Like it sounds like he's keeping on the bars as he's talking, and he goes and he goes and he goes and he goes and he keeps it back. And a whole time he's sticking with this. Every time he starts to talk, he's staying on the rhythm. And then he brings it back to be fast, but it doesn't necessarily break the rhythm. And I think that is really, really cool. Last time Koko went off a little bit and started doing some editing and stuff like that, Koko didn't need none of that. We told him to lean on his strengths. He leaned on his strengths here. And that's what it was. He brought up all these different wrestlers. Great. He like his history of knowing them. He was dressed like Cactus Jack. He brought up Cactus Jack. He brought up Terry Funk, and realistically, the Chainsaw Charlie version of Terry Funk, not the 70s version of Terry Funk. He brought up Nick Gage, and he had the pizza slicer. He took the shot to the back of the head from Miss Kitty, who was his valet, and he used her perfectly. Within it, she was there the whole time to bang. Okay, great. You did the Koko Del Negro thing. Okay, you gave us so much. But it didn't feel like too much. However, had you done a little bit of editing, I think it would have been too much. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you gave us so much with just your vernacular, so much with just the monologue that you could have overloaded us, but you didn't. And I liked that a lot. I think that the setting could have been maybe a little bit better. But at that point, I'm just getting kind of nitpicky with that. I really liked what you did here. Very, very solid monologue. Trevor, this was also very strong for you. I loved Davison talked about Sin City. This was Sin City, right? It's the blacks and the reds, and it feels like trash polka, and it's awesome. And it's there, and it's like almost mythical, but not. It's like realism based in like this other world. It's dark and it's brooding, but the tempo at the beginning did not feel that way. It felt like you were rushing. It felt like you were rushing at the beginning. You did a really good job using a crescendo to build to the finish. And I felt as soon as you started that upward swing, you got back on track. But what you did was you did it by bringing it back. You kind of like slowed down a little there because in that moment you stopped rushing. And there's a difference between changing the tempo and going from rushing to getting back on focus. So I felt like the back half of your promo was on perfect focus. And I thought you nailed it as we went into the finish, which is really, really good, right? And in the beginning, again, it was just like a half a step too fast. And I know that you know what I'm talking about. If you go to watch it back, you're going to see what I mean. But that being said, this would have beat a lot of people this week for me. But I do have to go with Koko by 0.5 on this one. Both of you had some of the strongest ones for me this week, and it was very hard for me to pick one. But because Koko was there the whole way, I felt like you were really strong in the back half and just pretty strong at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? When we get to this level, it's going to come down to stuff like this, and that's why for me it is Koko.
I will go. I know I've already said it in the chat. I've been walking around laughing for days. If anybody hasn't watched the video, hashtag Coco del Negro for president, man. Holy shit. Koko, you know I'm a fan. I think your stuff is original while being, drawn from obvious sources. I think you've done a good job of making it more you. You're still doing a lot of the stuff, but I'm not hearing Dusty. I'm hearing you now, which is good. Using the Nick Gage references and going back to MDK at the end. I hear what Alex is saying about doing some call outs for wrestlers that shows your knowledge. I wish you would have done something to make it yours. So I got my Nick Gage, or you said I got my Nick Gage pizza thing here. And then later you said something about we're going to go to MDK. You could have basically done the same thing and said, I know that Nick Gage has his own pizza cutter, but the black man has da-da-da to make it yours and better and more dangerous. You know what I mean? But you just kind of left it Nick Gage's. And then you came back to Nick Gage at the end. I don't like that for you. You're Coco motherfucking Del Negro. You don't need anybody's shit. Like, use it for reference.
Well said, Davison. Well said.
I'm never going to stop. This is my favorite thing in wrestling history right there. Make it yours, though. I felt like you were giving some of your sauce away. You know what I mean? Trevor, I know exactly what Alex is talking about. At the same time, I liked that the beginning was a little bit loose, too. Like, you looked really relaxed and, like, smarmy, almost slimy, I like, and this is a psychological piece that I think everybody should take note of. Using the person there under the mask. Obviously, we see what's happening here. But to put your hand on the person's head and, like, drum your fingers and, like, casually, like, pet, it looks like affection. But it's not. It's the exact opposite. It's dehumanizing. It's like treating this person like a pet or a bug without even having to say anything. Just the way you're treating this person, you're fucking nuts. Like, that's beautiful stuff. Didn't have to say a word with that, and I got it. I thought that when we got to, I'm going to scrape your face against this broken glass. I'm going to peel your skin off with this, with the barbed wire. You did a thing where you said against this broken, shattered glass. I get it. Broken can be a certain thing. Shattered feels like another thing. It's dangerously close to redundancy for me, but the imagery is good. It's brutal. It suits the matter. And I liked it when you did it, you kicked into like Foley territory. It wasn't, I'm going to fuck your face up. It was, I'm going to scrape your face in the glass. Like that desperate craziness again, which I love from you. I liked it when you got up to the kill shot, you were going to crescendo. And ultimately, I hold these two next to each other and I say to myself, which of these feels like something leading into a potential death match? For me, it's Trevor's. As much as I love Koko, you gave a couple points away for me this week. Learn from that. I'm sure you'll come back killing. But Trevor Straud for me this week.
All right. Now you fucked
Cody.
me.
I wanted to go second. I'm sick of set. I don't want to settle any more of these.
Oh, man. So, listen. Trevor's yours was great, man. You did a great job. And this is the tightest score there is of all of them. 0.1 between these two, dude. So, and again, like I said, I score these like I'm scoring gups when I'm at tournament. Gup is anybody below black belt, if you don't know. And I'm looking at it, and I've already said before, I like the look of your promos, Trevor. I like the way that it looks with the colors. I everything in that. Davison talks about the petting and stuff, but the person didn't seem scared one bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, there was that. But I can't hold you, and I'm not going to hold the other people accountable for their people, so I can't hold you accountable for that either, right? But Davison, she holds everybody accountable for everything.
Can I address that real quick?
Yes, sir.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That could have been either they should have done more, or this person is well trained. They know what the fuck's going to happen if they make any noise.
Right.
That I gave it a little bit of that space.
Okay. All right. Fair. Okay, so Koko. Lots of props, right? The pizza slicer, loved it. I'm not a huge, I just want to put this out. I'm not a deathmatch guy. I don't go death matches. I don't watch death matches. I'm not crazy about it. And I don't hate it. I'm not one of those anti-deathmatch people that go out. I've been to a few. I've been to RPW a few times. I've been to Horror Slam. But I don't, I don't go travel the country to follow deathmatch wrestlers around. So I will say this. Lots of props. You referenced Nick Gage. I know who Nick Gage is. You know what I mean? I know a couple deathmatch wrestlers. I like the pizza slicer. You took a shot from the pan from your kitty, Kabuto, I think it was, or something like that. Kabuto. That was great.
No idea.
What I liked, so, I'm not holding anybody accountable for their people, but I will say this. Kitty did a very good job of being in the background and reacting to things and doing things and even not, right, and having the mask on, and you don't see emotion from the mask, but with the motions Kitty was making, it added to what you were saying, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It worked well together. And then again, obviously, Coco del Negro. We've been introduced to that, and that is now a thing and is forever going to be a thing now. Now there's going to be merch and all these things, and you're going to be a millionaire. Just remember us. That's all I ask. But again, Kitty, she did a great job, and I really enjoyed it. And this were the two highest scoring promos of the week, and they were only separated by 0.1, and it goes to Koko T. Ware.
Wow.
Yeah, these were some of the highest scored for me this week as well. Some of the highest.
I'm not trying. I'm just, that was a good, they were both great promos, and that's why I had such a hard time. But when the scores came down, it was 0.1 separating them. So good job to the both.
I got to admit, I straight up wondered if Koko was on acid while making that. I was like, am I on acid? Are they on acid? Like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Did you get mushrooms?
Somebody's on acid.
All right, so now we're going to go to Alex Steele and Ethan James. Who wants to go first?
I will go first.
All right.
Let me find my notes. There we go. Alex was the other video that I was joking with myself. I actually wrote this message in the message thread and then erased it because I wasn't sure it was going to land. Between Alex and Koko, I can't tell who's on acid, them or me. I can't tell if it was a bit or an accident. Alex was talking to a person in the house, getting ready to go work out. Did anybody notice they were both facing left?
Yep.
I didn't really.
I was trying to figure out in the inside of that house how they were both looking in the same direction. And I found myself trying to figure that out. And then I was pulled out of it. It may sound like a small thing, but like conversationally, if I were to turn to talk to Cody right now, I would turn this way. And then he would turn and face me. But they were both going in one direction. It's not a huge thing, but we're getting close to the end of the season, so I'm pointing out the things. That being said, I thought it was really funny when you went to the fridge and got the thing and made the advertisement, and now we're out working out. It's kind of a fun juxtaposition that you're going into this, collision of seemingly unrelated entities. Juxtaposition. Of the kind of cutesy music playing up front, and then kind of the heavier music going when you're on the juice, you're out there running. I thought it was funny when you're doing wind sprints and your cape's starting to fall apart, like ragged. It's on brand for you, and I enjoyed it. It did make me wonder in this death match round, should we have tried a little bit of a different tack, or should we try to stay in that same track? You made a choice, and it was a good one. I liked it overall. Ethan, it's really interesting because I really enjoy your wordplay. I think you're really talented at that. I think you're pretty funny. I think you've got like the ability to just turn it on. This time was the one for me where I finally was like, okay, he clicked the stuff together in the way that I finally wanted it. The back to the camera at first kind of bugged me the tiniest little bit just because we don't have real production value. So when you're talking away from the camera, there's always a risk of whether we're going to hear everything. And it might have been interesting, even just like a little panning shot from like this side of your head, like around to here, and then you turn. This is little stuff for future reference. It was fine. But then when you turn, you're talking to the person on the phone, you make the joke, they punish you, you throw the phone, now you're more intense. You got in there for me. And that was the first time I've really been like, here we go. Like, you got Rit where I wanted you. As soon as you hit that for me, I was like, done deal. I liked Alex's, but as soon as Ethan flipped that last gear, Ethan wins for me.
Ethan wins for Davison.
Oh, do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
I'll go for this one because I don't want to get fucked. So, anyways, Alex Steele, we'll start with you, buddy. You didn't swear. That was cool, right? You said freaking. I liked that. I thought it related to your character, so that was good. That's why you got a good character score. The context, it was funny. That's what I like. I like serious promos, but sometimes you gotta laugh, right? Sometimes we gotta laugh, and you're that type of character that's gonna make us laugh, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. It kind of, it's like, I go back to 2 years ago when we're all locked in our house and COVID or whatever, and we all needed to laugh a lot, right? And that's where I like to laugh sometimes when it comes to professional wrestling and have a little bit of fun rather than be so serious all the time. And that's what I like about your promos. Same can be said for Ethan James. You're funny. I really enjoy it. I did enjoy the different setting this time. Not because, whatever, but I just enjoyed to see different things from all the time. I get it though. That's your shtick. So you're gonna be in that studio and with the lighting and stuff. But you're funny. You bleeped out. So I find it was you both. One said freaking, and then one said the F word, but bleeped it out. So I thought it was funny. They were both real funny. But I got more emotion out of Alex Steele's promo in the laughing and the funny, and I scored a little bit higher there. His character and his creativity was there for me, and Alex Steele for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
So for me, you
Fuck
both
you,
punted
AVZ.
some context points. And here's why. Alex, yeah, the thing that I felt, yes, I agree with Davison, by the way, with the camera angle thing. I understand that he was your other person was filming, but once you're creating it, make sure that you notice that in the future. Again, little thing, not a big deal. Context wise, it felt you were working out a lot and stuff like that. That didn't feel very deathmatchy. I felt like you strayed from the deathmatch part of it, right? And I felt like that was a huge, I really wanted to see how your character was going to handle being in a deathmatch. Again, I'm not a huge deathmatch person or whatever, but I know how my character responds in that situation. So I'm like, I did like your jest that I'm wearing jeans because if it's a hardcore match or death match or street match, you have to wear jeans. Those are the rules. Those in fact are the rules. So that was funny. What I'll get back to that. I'm just saying the thing that you punted for me context wise was it really wasn't on the death match thing, right? Something that I do like your comedy. It's really good. But the thing that puts you over the top isn't the comedy, it's that you're endearing as well. Right? It's the comedy, but you're endearing with it, and you make people feel something. You're like a natural baby face, which is almost impossible. Hardly anyone is that, but you're like the natural white meat baby face with the comedy. And if I can make an example, it's like Bo Burnham, right? You talked about being stuck in COVID and everyone needing to laugh, right? Bo Burnham, before that, he did have some mental, all that aside. His original stuff was funny and he was popular and he was a successful comedian with his creative comedy style. And then came the COVID, right? And then came the big moment, right? Just like you've had big moments where you had some struggles in your life, right? Some medical problems and whatnot. And then it was funny, but now his comedy act has every time he tells the jokes, there's a little bit of, now you're making me feel something. When he does his songs, when he does his bits, if you watch Inside compared to some of his other stuff. And that took him from good comedy act, popular superstar to full superstardom. Do you know what I mean? Now he's like an A-lister, Bo Burnham is. Because of that, he mixed them together and created this new level, right? And you've been doing that up until this point. It just hasn't all the way come together at the same exact time. So you're working on that formula, but it's there for you. Do you know what I mean? The ability to make us laugh from our heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I want to see that kind of come through with this a little bit more. It was good for me, but I felt like the context wasn't quite there. And, you know, there were a little bit of things here and there, again, with the camera angle. And like, I thought things could have been put over a little bit more. Ethan, the context point that you punted for me was that your person, the Booker man who was on the phone, and the hand that handed you the phone, that wasn't really putting another person into the promo. Do you know what I mean? That was kind of part of it. You didn't really do it. You did it, but you didn't really do it. Kind of like how Alex kind of did the deathmatch thing, but he didn't really do it. So for both of you, that kind of, you got weaker scores for me there. But that aside, I was very entertained, and you did a good job leveling up. I thought you stayed very focused on the deathmatch part. You showed me a lot more of how your character responds to the deathmatch. This was really good as far as the funniness goes. I liked your Booker Man stuff. Something that could have been even cuter is if you dubbed over. You already did the boop. You overdubbed with the beep. Overdub a little bit of the coming from the phone from Mr. Booker Man. Do you know what I mean? Have that coming through a little bit more. You add a little bit more comedy on that. Because you did get serious at the end, and that's kind of what I wanted to see from Alex in there, was a little bit more of the seriousness. And for that reason, I did go with Ethan on this one. But, you know, good job for both.
All right. So let's see here. So boom, boom. Okay. So that takes us to the last match of the night. Oh, man. This was hard. This was hard because these were both phenomenal, dude. And I use that term. Holy shit, dude. So, Jamie Eternal. Well, I'm going to start with Josh, actually. I felt a lot of emotion at the end of the year because I was really excited. You know, there was that, I'm not a deathmatch guy. But, right? And you went on and you were going to, here, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do it. Okay. When I said we're going to add a person, didn't even think about the fact that Jamie Eternal and Josh Morris were going to be going against each other, and they both have people that they can contact. I forgot about that. I don't know, man. I got so much going on up here. So we got to see the return of Harvey, and we got to see Davison, who is basically the mic man, not the mic man, but he's like the right-hand man of Josh Morris, you know, his personal rapper. Which I am.
A hype man, you white son of a bitch. It's a hype man.
Yeah, well, he's whatever. He's his personal rapper. I mean, because he's got his own rap song that he raps for him. I mean, he's a whole lot of things. But
Damn.
I was excited. I wanted to, when I said, again, like when I watch a promo, do I want to see the match after? And when I watched his promo, I'm like, I want to see this match. And it was like, maybe he's got a legit chance. You know, like he's obviously the underdog in this match, even if it was an actual death match, right? He's the underdog. And I don't mean in this instance underdog for the promo, but in the match sense of it all, he is the underdog. This is Jamie Eternal's realm. And at the end of his promo, I'm like, man, he could have a shot. I want to see this. I want to see this match. Harvey returns we see Harvey again. This is the hardest part of the job right here. In this one, for me, in Jamie's promo, I just didn't feel it as much as I have in the past. Everything was there, but I wasn't going, you know what I mean? I'm not, the emotion just wasn't there for me in the past, like there has been in the past. That's all I can really say. I don't know how to explain it the best way. Going to points, Josh Morris wins it. I may get stabbed later.
Davison, do you want to go?
Sure, I do. I want to preface this by saying again, people know that if you don't know, I'm in a faction with Jamie Eternal and Spyder called Insight. It may or may not be the hottest thing happening in the entire Midwest. Who knows? It puts me in a really weird position to have to judge both those two. And this was literally the matchup I was horrified of having to judge. I was just at a show over the weekend and Josh was there working. First time I've seen him in person in a long time. We caught up a little bit. And I will say, the infectious energy you get from a Josh promo, you get live times several.
Oh, yeah.
Easily the most hyped person at that show. Easily the most over the top energetic. Easily some of the easiest like crowd interaction. Just hype, you know? So having Davison, a hype man, Cody, makes perfect sense, right? And it plays into kind of like the whole, like, is he a white guy, hip hop guy? Is he not? Like the whole thing works. Jamie going back to JC Harvey is kind of a callback, right? There's nostalgia there. We all know that exists. I thought it was cool that Jamie Eternal really evolved. We kept talking about how are we going to stretch throughout this thing? If you're not going to change your character, how are you going to add notes? He added some notes. He is robotic and he's got the new mask, got some new sayings. Like he really reinvented some stuff. I have to acknowledge what you're saying. I don't know if that was a conscious choice, if we went more into like this new character thing. And so some of the intensity wasn't quite as much there. I will say that Josh's intensity stayed and grew, you know what I mean, towards the end. I had two minor complaints. One was I still don't know what Josh said in the last line of his rap. I rewound it and listened to it. I rewound it and listened to it. I can't hear what was being said. That scared me for a minute. And then I realized when Jamie Eternal had the mask on, I had a little bit of trouble hearing. So neither of those were deal breakers. They both had some audio stuff for me. You know, in a live setting, I will say it. I think Josh has more hype energy in a live setting. In this recorded promo, are they both trying to sell me on this match? Yes. Do I want to see both of them involved in that match? Yes, I do. They both have high points? Yes. They both crush character? Yeah. What was the major distinction? Which one of these two looks more like you would see it on TV? And for me, with the production value and the way it was packaged, I haven't been doing fractions of a point. I'm going to say by 1/1000th of a point, because we're just being arbitrary, apparently. Because I could see it on TV first. Jamie Eternal.
This is why. All right, fine.
That's why I want a second.
Very good. We're very good. We're split going into this. Great. Your lives hang in the balance.
Well, you know, it should almost be this way, though. It should, you know, with these two.
Right.
They're both heavy hitters. They're both undefeated so far. They're both 3-0. They brought their A game the entire time, and they're still
This
bringing.
might be the final matchup we're looking at. I expect it might, unless somebody really steps up.
Right.
This is probably gonna be your final.
Yeah.
This was the main event for me. Both of these guys did score the highest. Both. These are the two highest scores of the week for me. That being said, you both used people well. Welcome back, Mr. Harvey. You, my step manager. You are as good as ever. I love it. That intro, we can rebuild him. We can make him stronger. Jamie, you did a great job. Again, throwing in the pop culture. I love that. You're adding the Predator line at the end. You know, you don't see the devil. Like, that was good. You brought it back. So I don't know if you're going to keep this one or if this one's going to be, you know, something you use sometimes food. The production value was beautiful. Again, this is exactly something that you would see as a vignette on Raw. But then Josh's feels like a backstage promo that you would see on Raw. So I'm like, okay, I think I could see both of these on TV, but just in different ways. I liked Davison in there because when he went to go do his thing, Josh said, "No, I got this." And it's like, oh,
He teased him the whole time.
That's a level that, like, we're stepping up here. We asked for intensity out of Josh and we got that, and it built and it built and it built. The difference for me here, this was very close for me. The difference here for me was that both of you built your universes. This is a situation where I never thought Josh was necessarily underdog in this match because of the way he wins. It's like, oh, but I understand the character pretty well. I know that it's like Jamie in a pure deathmatch, he's going to kill you, right? But I also know that Josh is like, oh, this is no DQ? Super cool. You think you're fighting Josh Morris? You're fighting everybody. You got all these things now. Oh, great. The rules are out the window. Good for me too. You know what I mean? So that being said, I felt that Jamie Eternal's promo was strong and it stayed strong through. I thought that Josh's was strong and then it hit another level towards the end for me. And I felt it built more to that crescendo and we got that intensity that I actually felt that when Josh was at the peak of his intensity, he actually out-intensed Jamie in this one, which is kind of important for the way that these two characters were going to approach this match style. And for that, plus I felt that he used Davison just a little bit more creatively than Jamie used Harvey. For that, I went with Josh Morris in this one. But these two, again, I would be shocked to not see these two, at least in the playoffs. They're gonna make the playoffs at this point, I assume. But
oh yeah, they have to. There's no way around it now. Even if they were to lose their next round, they'd probably still make it.
Main event for me, man.
All right, so here we go. Let me get you. Hold on, I got to set these results in this software here. And that way we get our next round. And apparently I had messed it up the last one, but I fixed it all. So there's that. So now, okay. Yeah, we did that. So, bam, round 5. Here it is. All right. So, we had Davison. You weren't here last week. And when we give ideas to this guy, next thing you know, we're in a fucking death match, right? So I know that you've been really thinking about these things, right? We've had a conversation about this with the stipulations and scenarios for the match. So this is the 5th round. Hold on, let me look here. This is the 5th round. This is the last round before the semifinal. So I know you got some great ideas. What do you want to? Ooh, evilness! I see it already. All right. So what do you want to do?
Well, if you're giving me the whole keys to the car, I'm just going to drive this bitch off a cliff.
Sweet.
Let's go. I like all kinds of wrestling. I like modern wrestling. I like old wrestling. I like Japanese. I like British. I like lucha. I like all of it. There's a lot of old classic stuff that we just don't really do anymore. We've lost, I think, some opportunities to do certain elements of storytelling because we just don't do it anymore. I really like the old territory days of, I know you spent 5 years in this territory just like I have. We've been scratching and clawing to get to the top position in this place. But this place is too small for the two of us. Whoever loses this match, get the fuck out of here. Loser leaves town. You can never work here again.
I like that. So it's a loser leaves town.
I like that. If nobody's ever seen that, look into that. It's like first blood match. Okay, great. You made somebody bleed. Death match. You either killed somebody or you pinned somebody with a bunch of weapons. This is literally affecting your livelihood.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not just trying to beat me in a match. You're trying to ruin my family. You're trying to take the bread and butter out of my mouth. You're trying to run me out of here. Like, there's a lot there to play with. Think about how you would feel if somebody stole your job. Think about how you would feel if, I don't know, you agreed to do a job and somebody didn't pay you adequately. There's a lot of things that might make you mad, make you just like bounce. There's a lot of things that bother people. Making somebody leave against their will would be a fun one. I'm playing inside baseball here. Somebody talk before I make any mistakes.
All right, so we got a loser leaves town is the stipulation for this one. This is the 5th round. This is your final round. After this round, it'll be 4 people moving on to the semifinals. So you better bring your A game. Those of you that are in the lower bracket, listen, this is to get better. Okay? Take it, use it, and we hope to see you in the future. Maybe you'll come back next year and do it again. No
Last
problem.
chance for critique for you guys. You're playing for something. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
are playing for something. You're playing for the hey, and it's last chance for you to make an impression on a lot of the promoters who I know are watching this right now. Like,
Amen to that.
messaging. So I'm not going to say who they are, but a lot of promoters are watching this and they're making decisions, and so are a lot of wrestlers who aren't involved in this. So they're some of them might go, hey, I want to work with so and so. Just as much as a promoter might say, hey, I got to book so-and-so.
Well, that's already
So
happening.
that being said, let's see it. Yeah.
That's
Let me
already-
add to that. We can kind of look at wins and losses, and you can speculate as to who's moving on. We can all do that math. If you're a person who just isn't going to be in those next couple of rounds, this is your last chance. You know what I mean? Everything we've been saying to you, if you haven't let loose yet, if you haven't gone over the top yet, if you haven't gone crazy yet,
Let loose.
what are you waiting for? This is
Right.
it.
Let it all hang out.
Right, and what I think we had a conversation, AVZ and I maybe, and are you coachable? Right?
Yes.
Are you coachable? And these are things that the big leagues look for. You know, the Feds, WWE, Impact, AEW. Are you coachable? Can you come in and be where you're at now and get better? Right? Because some people, don't want to work. Some people don't want to put in the effort, and that's where the coachable comes in. Can you take critiques and not take it personal and get better with the critiques rather than just stay right there, right? All right, so here we go. Fifth round in the main portion, right? So this is, after this, it'll come down to the 4. So here we go. Josh Morris versus the Spyder. Jamie Eternal versus Koko Ware.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan James versus Road Rash. Jason Blasen versus Fletch Malone. Summer Rawson versus Alex Steele. Mason Keller versus the Great Tiger. Annie O'Neill versus Trevor Straud. And Eddie Dillon versus Avery Hughes. So those are your 8 matches for the 5th round before we go to the semifinal. The semifinal comes down to the final 4. Then we judge that, and then it goes to the final 2. And then we judge it, and we get a winner, and they become the 2023 Indie Idol, and they'll get that nice shiny belt that's over there, and hold that for the year, and that'll be cool. Very, very cool. So this is a loser leaves town. Get the fuck out match. So, hey, thanks everybody. I want to say thank you to all the participants, right? All the competitors. You guys are doing great. Keep up the work. This is, again, I'll say it again, this is by far, no offense to the people that have, taken place in the past, but this is by far one of the best years so far, in my opinion. Just the critiques and people growing, right? Because some people don't take critiques. Some people just think they're better than everybody. Some people do. And then they go on, and then they win, and they do all these great things. It's amazing how that works. But I love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Davison, for taking your time out to come here and do this with us. AVZ, same to you. Thank you for coming out, taking your time to do this, because this means a lot to me, but I'm sure to some of the, I don't know about all of them. I can't speak for them, but I know from what they're telling me, a majority of the people that are participating in this are getting a lot out of this, and that's what counts, and that's what's awesome about it. So thank you, everybody. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Scroll down in the description. You can find Rasslin Rage and Michigan Independent Weekly on all the social media. Those links are down there, as well as our wonderful sponsors who help out with awards and all these cool things that we're able to do, like get new equipment and things like that from time to time. So, make sure you scroll down there and give them a like, give them a follow, and give them a subscribe. We are going to get out of here. We will see you. Well, I'll see. Yeah, tomorrow. Oh, man, I'm always busy. Anyways, all right, see you guys later. We're out of here.
It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. Wrestling Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Wrestling Rage.